Oh, I lost my mouse. Oh. Hey guys, this is Dave. I'm first time using Streamlabs OBS. I'm normally just using regular old OBS, but I'm trying out Streamlabs OBS, and of course, the on-screen chat is not working. So we're off to a good start. But I can read the comments here. I can at least see the comments here on the Shiro stream, so if you guys comment, I can at least respond to you. I'm just gonna do a new game, and I'm gonna make it easy to start. So we start off on Akina, which is the Speed Stars area, and of course our character is Takumi. He drives a Trueno Sprinter Toyota AE86, and it tells you all the specs of your car here. You've got a 150 horsepower at 6,600 RPM. And then you're going up against your friend, and his name is escaping me for some reason. For some reason, I just can't remember his name at the moment. But anyway, you're going up against your goofy friend here on your home turf, Akina. And for those who are not familiar with the anime, or perhaps you've never watched it, basically Takumi, he's a young kid who drives somewhat illegally at night for his dad, delivering tofu. And so by driving a lot as a chore, he kind of becomes really good at it. Basically, his dad makes him drive as like I said, as like a chore. So he doesn't like driving, and for a while actually, until he realizes that he's actually really good at it. And the more I talk, the worse I'm going to do at this. But anyway. Oh, there he's right behind me. I'll put it up. I know this is kind of cheating with a high draw, keeping the camera high like that, but it also gives you a better draw distance because this game is at night, and that's one of those things that Genki did to hide the poor draw distance, is like put it at night. Crafty. I see what you did there. So here's the hairpins, the famous Akina consecutive hairpins, or at least they're famous in the show. And this is like where Takumi does his little driving on the inside of the gutter trick. You can't actually do that in this game. It'd be cool if you could. I'm getting sloppy. It ends so abruptly. That's one of my main criticisms. It should just like blow through the goal and keep driving and then like fade out. But it's just like you hit the goal and it just like stops. I guess they do that because like if your opponent is only one car length behind you, you get to see like a freeze frame. Evan asks, are the drift mechanics realistic at all? That is a good question. Let me answer it with another question. Are any racing games drift mechanics realistic? Except for like truly I don't know, like I guess Gran Turismo would come really close to truly realistic drift mechanics, and drifting in like Gran Turismo 3 or 4 or even the newer Gran Turismos, it requires a lot of practice and skill because it's closer to like drifting in real life. It's not as quick and easy as drifting in Sega Rally. I would say in Sega Rally you almost automatically drift. But that isn't to say that it's like drifting for dummies. Like Sega Rally has like you could just get so good at Sega Rally. There's nuance to it for sure, but I would also say that it works automatically, whereas in this it takes you a long time to get the right feel for drifting. Okay, so you raced against your friend and that gave you some kind of a reputation, and now your buddy over here, which again, like I can't remember any of these guys' names now. Yeah, I can't remember his name now. It's been so long since I've watched the anime, but anyway, now he wants to race you because he thinks that it'll help him improve his own skill. And Ben is watching. Hey Ben, how's it going? So yeah, we're just going automatic. Evan, just to answer a little bit more of your question, when you come into the turns, it's all about braking in this game. It's all about hitting the brake and just letting off the steering for a second so your car goes into the drift, and then you just kind of like tap the steering and tap the acceleration, but don't get heavy-handed at it. I think that's what folks do, is they're just a little too heavy-handed with this game because they're used to that from other games. But this game has a much more sensitive drifting mechanic. Too much talk, not enough play, so I'm gonna just keep going here. It's funny, I'm seeing everybody's comments are supposed to show up on the stream, but for some reason I can never get that to work. I got it to work back in the old days of streaming, and then when I came back to doing streaming, it's broken. I couldn't get it to work. If anybody's wondering, this is not the original music for the game. This is the Eurobeat mod, and the reason why you're hearing this track again is because this music track is actually tied to Akina. So if you're ever racing on Mount Akina, you're going to hear this track, and I think that was just a limitation that the dude, Mr. 357, had when he was kind of cobbling together this mod. I'm just glad that we have any kind of Eurobeat to go with it. But yeah, when you go to the Sil 80 course, it changes the music track. Ooh, too early. See, okay, so right there was a good example of just hitting the brakes too early for the drift. See, I let off the... You let off the gas when you hit the brakes to drift. It's kind of hard to explain it. It's just muscle memory now. Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't look pretty when I'm doing this, because it's not easy. But I don't think that means the game's not worth playing. I actually think that the difficulty curve of this does really make you feel like you're doing something when you finally get good enough to drift and beat your opponents. Unfortunately, it doesn't do as good a job as Sega did on the later Initial D games. I mean, those games perfected it. But Genki did an okay job. Not as bad as people think. Interestingly enough, this game came out after Drift King 97. And they have completely different drift mechanics, which kind of, I mean, maybe they did that because drifting on the freeway is kind of different from drifting on Toge, but maybe that's why. You know, the Japanese game developers tend to I wouldn't say they overthink things, but they just kind of... I don't know what you're saying, Peter. Is 0? Anyway. Yeah, Evan, you have to initiate the slide, but then immediately kind of control it. What I would say is when it comes to counter steering, that's when people tend to be a little heavy-handed. They kind of over counter steer, and that ends up putting them into the railing. So it's almost like you need to like float for a little while and feel the drift out, and then start correcting just a little bit. But man, when you get it, this is easy mode. When you get into normal mode, you start going even faster, and your opponents, they never make any mistakes. So then your margin for error is even less. I gotta take one ear off so I can... I'm not gonna make you guys watch the replays. I'm gonna try to blaze through this campaign mode so you guys kind of get a feel for what the whole game entails. So you just beat your rival, sorry, not your rival. You just beat one of your friends, and he they were amazed, and he decided to invite you to to join the Speed Stars. You know what I just realized is I need to get out to the options, and I need to turn on animation so you guys can actually see the story unfold. I forgot to do that. You can turn off animation, and it avoids some loading, you know, then you don't have to wait for it to load the animations. But I forget what I was talking about before, honestly. So stage 3, so you impressed your friends, and now they invited you to become an Akina Speed Star, and now you get these girls that drive in the SIL 80. And the one on the right, she's kind of sassy. She's kind of like the girlfriend, and she is kind of like the tough one. The one on the left is the driver, and I think she has like a thing for Takumi, if I remember correctly, but Takumi is not interested because he has got someone, as you might see later on. So yeah, you got a Nissan Silvia 180. Max horsepower 230 at 6,000 RPMs. So yeah, this is, I wish I had one of those. Cool car. Nice car to tinker with. Oh. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just see. I've got captions enabled on my... Oh, and I didn't get the launch. I wasn't really paying attention. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. No big deal. We can do this. And again, I'm going to cheat a little bit just for your guys' benefit. I don't need to drive in this mode with the camera so far, but it does allow you guys to see more of the road. Yeah, here's another thing I'll say. If you spend any significant time in the normal mode, and I say quote unquote normal mode because it is hard, but if you spend any significant time in that mode and then you come back to easy mode, you'll have no trouble drifting through these courses. I would say it's like using a weighted bat, you know, to train. It is a good way to get good, but it's also a good way to punish yourself because it's hard. I have gotten in normal mode. I've gotten as far as my dad, which is Bunta, and he also drives an 8.6, but it's doesn't have as much horsepower because it doesn't have the turbo in it like Takumi's, but he's just a better driver. He's like a professional ex-race car driver. So, and I think they call him like the ghost of Akina or something like that because he just has the mountain memorized. And that's another thing that comes into play with this game. If you don't want to look like a clown playing this game, you really do need to look at the map up top, and you really do need to know exactly when you're gonna brake and when you're gonna turn. You need to memorize the courses, which is exactly what Takumi did in the show. Like they'd actually give him an opportunity to drive the courses a couple times, you know, just to get used to it before he had to race. And you do have to do that in this. So I think that if they were trying really hard to make this game feel like the show, they did a pretty good job, because you can't just jump into this game like Sega Rally and be good at it. You really do have to memorize the courses, kind of like Nights into Dreams or something like that. I know that's kind of a weird, you know, that's a weird comparison. Maybe that's not a very appropriate one, but you have to memorize the courses to be good at this. And then the drifting just comes natural because you know when the turn is coming. So, and now I'm just talking, so I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, but Yeah, no, if you know when the turns are coming, it's actually not hard at all. Ish. And I mean, like, right now I could just literally drive grip the whole way because I've already beaten them. Any other questions? I don't know, the Shiro chat is just nothing happening there. But then again, there's only 9 people watching. Oh well. So on the replay, you can kind of control some of the angles. I'm gonna let this play just for a second, so hold on. Alright, sorry guys. I had to take a call. But it's all good. So let me see. Oh. Alright, let's see. So they're very impressed. I actually forgot to download the script. I was thinking about it, and I just forgot before I did this. It was very off the cuff. Is
cool vibrations. Cool vibrations.
So that's Genki. This is like the grip tape death match in the show. He challenges you. He's kind of a cheater. He's kind of a scumbag, and he challenges you to a duel where your hand is basically taped to the steering wheel, and he does that because he's driving a front-wheel drive. He's driving a Civic hatchback. Let's see here. So yeah, he's driving like a Honda Civic hatchback, 185 horsepower, 7,800 RPMs. And he doesn't really drift so much. I mean, you can do like a braking drift in a hatchback, and that's kind of what he does. Is he does like an e-brake drift. But also he knows that by taping your hand to the steering wheel, you won't be able to properly turn and counter steer. But Takumi's just that good that he's able to kind of like overcome that challenge and gain more notoriety and reputation as a driver. And again, he just does it by kind of like using just a more nuanced drift than you normally would, than like a traditional drift. I can't really explain it to you, but I recommend you guys watch the anime because it's actually quite good. But of course, you don't get much of that here in the game, and it doesn't control any different. I was gonna say it would be kind of cool if it controlled different due to the grip tape, but no, it doesn't. It's the same. Oh, and this is also still the Sil 80 course. So, or no, this is the Night Kids. That's right. That's right. This is the Night Kids course. So let's see what's coming up. Looking at the map, it looks like we've got a really sharp set of turns here. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see though on the map. I apologize, I can't really read the comments while I'm doing this. Shouldn't even talk because I'm one of those really focused racing gamers who, like, if I'm gonna do well, I really just gotta focus on what I'm doing. But when I finish this race, I'll take a look at the comments. Yeah, now we're going pretty fast downhill. Yeah, over on Galaxy Sega, Naveed was asking, is this game any good? And I mean, I think it's good. I don't think that it's the best racer on Saturn, for sure. I mean, I'm a big Daytona and Sega Rally fan. But the thing is, all of those games have drifting, and it's different in every single one. So you impress your girlfriend, you beat Kenji, and now you have to go up against an R32 Skyline, so that's going to be fun. When it comes to racing, like a all-wheel drive grip car, you know, they're really, really fast, especially like these high horsepower cars. They're really fast on the straightaways, so it's almost like you have to drive with no brakes. You just kind of have to go downhill and almost never use the brakes, which is kind of what Takumi did in the anime. And everybody would think that he was absolutely out of his mind, you know, because he'd take some of these really sharp turns and he'd like head into them at like 50, you know, or 60 miles an hour. And that's what you have to do when you're driving a car that doesn't really have any power, you know, you're driving against cars that have tremendous horsepower. So yeah, your rival here, he's driving a Skyline R32, and it's 380 horsepower compared to your 150. So yeah, on the straightaways he's got you. I might have to, you know, go up against him twice, especially if I end up talking a lot during this. We'll see. Man, I'm getting kind of messy. Alright, let's tighten up the bolts. Anytime... so the draw distance obviously isn't great, right? So you can't really see turns coming up, which is why I say you either have to memorize them or you have to be looking at the map. It really is important to look at the map. Otherwise you start looking like a clown like I am right now. And I kind of forget sometimes that, yeah, you have to look at the map. That's why it's there. I'll try to catch up to him anyway. But I was going to say, starting out, it seemed really easy. And I was going to say that's because I've been spending time in the normal mode, getting used to, like, really facing these guys really difficult. Now, I may not catch up to him because his car is just so fast, so I might have to do this again. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to catch up to him now. Because we're on a straightaway and he can just blaze. Oh, there he is, though. See if I can pass him at the finish line. Dude, that was close. Who would you say won? Yeah, he won. He won by like a foot, by a bumper. So it's just gonna dump me into that race again. Let's do it again. Hey Cameron, how's it going? Oh no, you beat him. I beat him. I didn't really beat him, but I technically beat him. And you're just like geeking out over it. You're like, Takumi is like geeking out over the fact that he beat this guy, who he kind of like looks up to, even though he's a rival. I think his name is, starts with a G. I forget what it is. I'm forgetting all these names now that I'm on the spot. It wasn't Gunma. That's like a prefecture. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, you have to, okay, so I didn't beat him. See, it doesn't tell you if you lost. You just end up having to watch the cutscene again. Alright, so this time I'm all in. I'm gonna be serious. No talking. I have tried doing the cockpit mode, you know, and that doesn't feel very good to me. It's not that I can't do it, it just doesn't really feel very, I don't know, with the draw distance being so low, it's just not very fun. Kind of prefer this view just because I really can see him and me at the same time, and I can see us both drifting. Come on. There we go. Dude, he's serious. Okay, I don't know. Oh no, I'm choking. Yeah, that happens. Oh, that was it. I could have got him right there, but I kind of tripped right there. So here we go again. All right. sloppy. Sloppy. Okay, come on. Man, when you crash into the guardrail, the frame rate just chugs. I try not to do that, but... Oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, so bad. Come on. I promise this is not, I'm not this bad. But, yeah. Come on, come on. Come on. There we go. Sorry to make you guys sit through 2 failures. But we got through that. Dude, Bunta is going to kill me then. Because I'm rusty already. I'm not going to make you guys watch that replay. They can't believe their eyes. Peter, you really do need to play this game. I think you would be very good at it. The way that Peter dissects every game that he plays. And dude, I totally beat him. They better not be making me race him again. I totally beat him. And now I'm oh, okay, no, now I'm racing the Emperor. This is a Evolution Lancer. 330 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Well, they say 4-wheel drive there, but it's all-wheel drive. Mitsubishi. I'm playing right now on a Mitsubishi monitor. It's kind of cool that Japanese heavy industry, they tend to make more than just cars or instruments or microwaves. Like, they make all sorts of stuff. And he is fast. Okay, this is another one I'm probably gonna have to do over. Come on, there we go. We gotta catch up. I just don't have, like, this car just does not have the same power on the straightaways. So whenever the road gets straight, he's just way ahead of me. And I mean, I catch up in the turns because, you know, he has to slow down because he's got so much power and hardly any drift. You can drift in an all-wheel drive car. You can do it. It's just different, and it's not, I mean, it's no 8.6. Like the 8.6 is just a crazy car because it was just made, it's almost like made for drifting, especially like on the downhill. And he's right behind me. He is right on me. Come on. Yeah. As you get on with you know, your opponents, what happens is they they're consistent in their driving. They just don't make any mistakes. So what it does is it means that you have to be perfect. It's like you can totally beat them as long as you're flawless. And I mean, I'm not. And this guy, I mean, he's not nearly as good as like Ryosuke or Keisuke of the Suns. You know, they are like practically flawless. And then your dad is literally flawless when it comes to just execution. I'm just making this look really bad. There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's funny. Just like when you're drifting in real life and you're kind of using like a toe and heel kind of thing on the gas and on the brake. You kind of end up doing that on the buttons here, on the brake and gas, on the pad. I never realized that, but I was just realizing it right now as I was drifting through some of those turns. I'm just basically reaching over with part of my thumb to just tap the brake and then kind of ease back on the acceleration. She's like, "You're the best racer I've ever seen." I really should have downloaded the script. You can get it though on GameFAQs, or I believe there's even a YouTube video somebody posted that has like captions for everything, so you should check that out if you're interested at all. But it's basically an abridged version of the actual anime script. And here's Keisuke. He's been like watching you the whole time. He drives an FD, which is the rotary Mazda. And you know, he's upset because he's supposed to be like the up and coming champ. He's supposed to be, you know, following in his brother's footsteps. His brother Ryosuke, he's like the nerd. He's the dude who tinkers around on the laptop and tunes the cars, and he's an exceptional driver. But his little brother Keisuke is supposed to be like the star, who he's kind of like, I guess, you know, pruning to become like a famous, you know, toge driver. So you got an FD here, which is the Infinity. It's an RX-7, and it's let's see here, 350 horsepower at 6,500 RPMs. Yeah, it's got quite a bit more power. Yeah, so those things are awesome, by the way. I see quite a few, not quite a few, but I see a couple come off the military base over at Point Loma. There's a lot of tuner guys over there. And so I do see the occasional RX-7 coming off the... This is going to be a hard race, I think. Gonna grip through this. It's like a couple of fake outs here, and then a sharp turn which he never misses. Yeah, that's not what I needed to do. There you go. Try to drift this. Alright, there's a really long drift coming up. It's hard to get it right. Yeah, I always end up kind of overextending it. It's all about the braking. You see that 40 mile an hour or 40 kilometers an hour, and that's when you have to hit the brakes. But it's like you have to time it so you hit them like a moment after. Otherwise, you end up getting into the drift a little too early, and it's hard to... It's just a timing thing to get it perfect and make it look good. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do a replay there. How did the FD get beaten by an 8.6? That's what everybody can't believe. They put so much stock in the cars, you know, and not the racer, not the driver. But I mean, you should actually put a lot of stock in the 8.6 because, like I say, it's just that slip differential. It's just the way that car is built. It's like perfect for downhill drifting. It wouldn't be much good, you know, on like a circuit track, like a flat circuit track. And here's Ryosuke. I think that's his name. And he's kind of like the tactician. So he's like, you know, I am now honored to race you after watching you beat my brother. This is like one of my favorite cars of all time, and of course it's because of this show. It's the FC, the Savannah RX-7, 280 horsepower, so quite a bit less than the FD at 6,500 RPMs. But it's just, I love the way that it looks. I love the pop-up headlights. The little hood scoop thing, you know, just I have like so much nostalgia for this. And if I had like a Tinker car, this is what it would be. It's completely impractical because it's like a two-seater, you know. I think you could cram some groceries or maybe a kid back there, but it wouldn't be comfortable. So it's like not a family car at all, but it's the kind of car that I would love to take apart and put together when I have space and better tools. It'll happen. That's what I keep telling my wife. That's going to be my retirement right there. But you will notice racing against him that he's not as fast as his brother, but he's also doesn't make any mistakes. And I just made a mistake right there. I was talking and I did not remember to turn. Okay, let's see here. Whoa, whoa. Love the Eurobeat. Okay, I'm just gonna try to get through that and survive. Not making it look good. like a sharp turn coming up. And I'm just scraping those fenders on the guardrails the whole way. But, okay, to be fair, when Takumi gets to this stage in racing, like, he really is scraping his fenders against the guardrails. Like, he races so recklessly. He never uses the brakes. He drives full throttle. He takes these corners going like 50 or 60. And he literally does just barely escape with his life. He has to drive that recklessly to beat these higher powered cars with his little 150 horsepower Trueno. So in that case, it's very similar. We are almost done. I am going up against my dad here, Bunta. All right. Last race of the campaign mode, scenario mode, final stage. And it's an 8-6. All right, so here's your dad's car. Same as yours, basic. Same weight, just 130 horsepower. And let's see here. We're just going to try to beat him on the first go. And that'll wrap things up. And this is back on Akina, so this is your like home turf. Of course, it's your dad's home turf too, so, and he is really good. Okay, thanks, Dad. Come on. Two slow cars going around corners on a downhill. Well, they're not that slow. I mean, you're using gravity. Come on. Get ahead of him. Come on. I kind of have to beat him this time because I think I hear the baby just woke up from her nap. And I am on duty, so I have to win. The stakes are high. I can't do it again. There's no do-overs here. That is being a dad and a gamer. Alright, so this is where the race is decided every time almost. the fingers or the consecutive hairpins. You can grip through them, but you go a lot slower that way, so I have to try to overtake him here. Gotta overtake him on the inside. Yes. Come on. Come on, he's like right behind me. Come on. No. Oh. Good one. He's gonna beat me here, you guys. I cannot believe it. He got me. Well, there's suspense for you. He beat me, and I don't really have time to redo this because I gotta go get the baby. She's calling out for me. But anyway, it was fun to just show you guys the campaign mode. I could probably beat Bunta at another time. But in the meantime, just reminding you guys to play your Sega Saturn. This is Saturn Dave signing out and just saying go check out this game and hope you guys enjoy it. Until next time.